Good morning, Unity in the Seven Hills. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Whether you're here in person or online, we welcome to you and know that you are in the right place at the right time. And here we are. We're going to sing some songs this morning. I hope you guys are ready. If you're not, you will be after this song. So let's stand and sing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, get ready. I'm so glad that you're here today. Come on, get ready. Let's give thanks in a special way. Come on, get ready. Let's take a time to celebrate. Come on, get ready. Finding our way to elevate. Feel the power. Know the truth. Look on the inside and step into you. Come on, get ready. I'm so glad that you're here today. Come on, get ready. Let's give thanks in a special way. Come on, get ready. Let's take the time to celebrate. Come on, get ready. Finding our way to elevate. Feel the power. Know the truth. Look on the inside and step into you. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Get ready. Come on, come on, come on, come on, and get ready. Come on, come on, come on, come on, and get ready. Come on, come on, come on, come on, and get ready. Come on and get ready. We always have 3 songs. I'm going to talk a little bit as Benjamin is doing double duty. We're missing our Matt this morning, but Benjamin stepped in and he's doing guitar and drums, just not at the same time. That would be a trick. So, yeah, we're giving him 1 week's grace. Now Matt will be back next week. I dreamed of rain, and the rains came, soft and easy, sweet and clean. I dreamed of rain, and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. And the flowers bloom in the desert, and the air is fresh and clean. I dreamed of rain, and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of freedom, and the moon rose, and the way was easy, and the path was clean. I dreamed of freedom, and the moon rose, and peace spread over the land. And the guardian stars are shining, and the night is bright and clear. I dreamed of freedom, and the moon rose, and peace spread over the land. Let's have a little guitar solo. There you go. Thanks, Benjamin. I dreamed of heaven, and the earth sang, and the sound was easy, and the song was clear. I dreamed of heaven, and the earth sang, and peace spread over the land. And the ancient pain is forgotten, and fathers' debts are clear. I dreamed of heaven, and the earth sang, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of summer, and the winds changed, and the green was easy, and the rivers ran clear. I dreamed of summer, and the winds changed, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of rain, and the rains came, soft and easy, sweet and clear. I dreamed of rain, and the rains came. You know, when I choose these songs, I don't know it's going to rain on a Sunday, you know. Maybe it's my choosing the songs that brought the rain. But we haven't had some in a while, so, you know, it'll be good for our hibiscus plants. We've got to get them those in the ground, though. 1, 2, 3, 4. I woke up this morning feeling fine. Got a smile on my face, ain't no time for no crying. I got a groove in my step and a beat in my chest. I'm too blessed, yes, too blessed to be stressed. Every day's a brand new start. Oh, I'm dancing through life with a joyful heart. No matter what comes, you know I'll pass the test. You know I'm blessed, oh yes, too blessed to be stressed. 'Cause I'm blessed, too blessed to be stressed. Woo! Too blessed to be stressed. Woo! Too blessed to be stressed. Woo! Too blessed, I can't be repressed. 'Cause I'm blessed, oh yes, too blessed to be stressed. When troubles come a knocking at my door, I lace up my boots 'cause I'm ready for more. I've got the power of love, my guiding light, and with love on my side, it'll all turn out right. Every day's a brand new start. Oh, I'm dancing through life with a joyful heart. No matter what comes, you know I'll pass the test. 'Cause I'm blessed, oh yes, too blessed to be stressed. Here we go, everybody, come on. Blessed, I'm blessed, too blessed to be stressed. Woo! Too blessed to be stressed. Woo! Too blessed to be stressed. Woo! Too blessed, I can't be repressed. 'Cause I'm blessed, oh yes, too blessed to be stressed. I've been down, I've been low, found the strength to let it all go. Life's a dance and I'm in the groove, spread and spread the love with every move. 'Cause I'm blessed, too blessed to be stressed. Woo! I'm blessed, too blessed to be stressed. Woo! Too blessed to be stressed. Woo! Too blessed, I can't be repressed. 'Cause I'm blessed, oh yes, too blessed to be stressed. Now let's spread this feeling far and wide. Gonna share the love side by side, with a heart to hold and a heart to mend. 'Cause our blessings will never end. Every day's a brand new start. Oh, I'm dancing through life with a joyful heart. No matter what comes, you know I'll pass the test. You know I'm blessed, oh yes, too blessed to be stressed. 'Cause I'm blessed, too blessed to be stressed. Woo! Too blessed to be stressed. Woo! Too blessed to be stressed. Woo! Too blessed, I can't be repressed. 'Cause I'm blessed, oh yes, too blessed to be stressed. One more time, everybody. 'Cause I'm blessed, too blessed to be stressed. Ooh, too blessed to be stressed. Ooh, too blessed to be stressed. Ooh, too blessed I can't be repressed. 'Cause I'm blessed, too blessed to be stressed.
Whoop. There we are. There we are. Unity Band. I got to tell you, on the last one, Daniel, on the last one, I had this image of Jerry Lee and Chuck Berry.
That's exactly what I was thinking of with that song.
spirit.
I got to tell you, absolutely.
So there we go. Well, with Chuck Berry and Jerry Lee, let's go out and start blessing the Unity candle. And with that great affirmation, there's only one presence and one power in the universe and in our lives. God, the good, omnipotent. And when we say that and it's more than mumble words, great things really can start to happen. I was recently reading this by Scott Walker, a wonderful author. Scott writes, early this morning, I sat on our back porch with our young golden retriever, Lexi, lying beside me. I was in a reflective and prayerful mood as the sun slowly rose and I sipped good coffee. Cardinals, sparrows, and doves visited our bird feeder, chirping loudly. It was dawn, and it sort of like reflected Eden. As Lexi rolled over on her mat and sighed with delight for life, the last verse of the final psalm in the Bible really hit me. Let everything that has breath praise the Lord. God delights when we enjoy, appreciate, and delight in his good earth. Scott writes, such joy is healthy and free, and yet it is so easily squeezed from our awareness as the sun rises higher and our day becomes hectic and demanding. Our sense of praise and joy is transformed into worry, work, and frenetic energy. Our natural love and praise of God are stifled. And Scott adds, and I think this is so important, it is important to cultivate such moments of simple praise and wonder each day. For everything that has breath can praise and enjoy the vitalizing presence of God. Today we are going to again talk about creating a beloved community. An important part of that is enhancing the mystical. It is so easy, to lose that, in the course of the day, and particularly if we don't have those moments that Scott was writing about with his golden retriever and whatnot. And so how do we create that? How do we get into that? Even though, we have to pay bills and take out the mortgage and get the kids. And so we'll be talking about that, enhancing that mystical in the everyday. Let's go into prayer. Dear Spirit, thank you for our many, many blessings. Thank you that this growing season is soon going to change into a harvest season. Thank you for unity in the 7 hills. May it continue to be a city on a hill with an important, positive spiritual message, not just for Lynchburg and the Blue Ridge Mountains, but for the world beyond. And though small, remembering that with you we are mighty. And for this and so much more, we say thank you and amen and amen. Each week we talk about one of Unity's 5 basic principles, and today we're on that incredible second principle. I mean, this really touched on the first principle about one presence, one power. It's not, God here and Satan over, and I mean, it's, in essence, unity is like one entity, one vote. God the good omnipotent. God the good omnipotent. a loving vote, a wonderful vote, a vote that is for us and is sustaining us. But then that second principle, I mean, it's just incredible that that divine spark is inside of us. It isn't just transcendent and far away, but it is, it is right inside of us. I remember many years ago, a number of years ago, I was taking a class before they would let you in to the ministry program. There were spiritual education enrichment courses you had to take. And so I was taking one given by a wonderful guy, Tom Thorpe, Reverend Tom Thorpe. And it was called The Christ in the Bible. And it was talking about it. And we had to really start writing about what do we really believe. And so I'm writing, I believe there's the Christ inside of it. And let's not be parochial about it. Buddha nature, higher power, the eternal, the ever-present philosophy, higher self, Atman. Our Jewish friends have called it Ein Sof. I mean, it's been called many different things. But so anyway, I'm writing about, and I believe there's the Christ inside of me. But there are many things inside of me. I mean, there's a smorgasbord inside of me. And then it really struck me on a very deep level that this divine power, it isn't just another thing that's inside of me. It is the central organizing principle. It is the big enchilada, as it were. Carl Jung, that great Swiss psychiatrist, a lot of times he talked about the self with a capital S. It's the organizing archetype, as it were. And that is our real essence, not our error thoughts, not our fears, not our sense of scarcity, not our sense of lack, not our sense of, oh my God, that horrible mistake I made in 1995. I mean, that is not who we truly are. Who we truly are is that Christ within. Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of the Unity Movement, one time was asked, what's the most powerful line in all the Bible? And he answered, it's in Colossians, the first chapter of Colossians. He said, Christ in you, the hope of glory. And when we can center on that is who we truly are, not our fears, not our worries, then there quite frankly is a new stride in our step, a new sense of love and forgiveness. Why don't we say it? This is one way of saying that great unity second principle. Why don't we say it together? Human beings are divine at their core and therefore inherently good. And sometimes when I'm not living up to my Buddha or Christ potential, when I'm not living up to, it's usually some fear that's going on inside of me, or some sense of lack, or some sense of resentment. And when I can recenter and remember that truly Christ in you, the hope of glory, and that is who I really truly am. When I can recenter on that, then things go really different. And I remember those times like Scott is talking about on the back porch, as it were. I don't have a dog, I have a cat who is my prayer partner in the mornings, and I can really remember that and recenter. If you're new, or if this is your first time here or new to Unity, welcome. We have I'm not going to ask you to stand and embarrass you, but we have packages in the back which our greeters would be glad to give you, which explains all about. If anybody wants it, please. Even if you've been here 50 million years, we still have the packet. But it explains what about Unity in the Seven Hills. We have a lot of things going on here, so please ask us, ask me. We would also say, why not join us downstairs for fellowship afterwards, food and fellowship, and would love to get to know you better. We are, also really so blessed with our Youth and Family Ministries program and all that Crystal is doing to make it such a wonderful, wonderful program. Why don't we bless our kids and send them off? And let's say that wonderful blessing. You are a perfect child of God, and God and I love you just the way you are and wherever you are.
So let's stand and sing. Let's get some energy up in here. You know, I did say to Matt about like getting his foot up on the piano and playing with. Yeah. But he said if he wasn't on a rolling chair, he would have done it. Here we go. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Thank you. Please be seated. Let's affirm our mission statement together. And as I mentioned, I think last week, one person in the congregation came up to me and said, you know, we rushed through saying this stuff, and it shouldn't be mumble words, and it should be something which we really think about. Because I think both our mission and vision really, you know, as it were, hit the nail on the head. So let's say it together. Unity in the Seven Hills is a vibrant, inclusive community that inspires individual spiritual growth through education, prayer, heart connection, and sacred service. And our vision statement, we are an inclusive community centered in spirit. We embrace our divine oneness, power, and purpose. And let me also add, we also honor all paths that lead to spiritual enlightenment. We do not claim a monopoly on truth. And I've asked Paula, come on up, to read the daily word. We even have a working microphone today.
Thank you. Good morning. God's joy blesses each day of my life. The aroma of my favorite foods from childhood brings a happy memory to mind. Hearing the voice of a dear one warms my heart. Looking upon a newborn's face for the first time evokes feelings words cannot describe. While the giddy excitement of a child's joy may now be a memory, the joy I know today still delights me. Each day I embrace more completely the joy of knowing I am a living expression of God. God's love lives as me. God's wisdom is within me, my guide to a deepening understanding of myself and the world around me. The love I share with people who are dear to me is God's love, living in each heart and expressing as each of us. What greater joy could there be? Rejoice always. 1 Thessalonians 5:16.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you so much. Before I ask, this is National Yoga Month, and I'm going to ask Ari to come up and read something related to National Yoga Month. But also, I've asked Ari to do the meditation at the end of the service, because his meditation, I think, really ties into what we're talking about in terms of enhancing the mystical as we're trudging, as it were, trudging the road of happy destiny through Route 29, backed up or whatever. So thank you in advance for doing the meditation, and now here is on yoga.
Thank you. Real quick, while I've got most of you here, I'm going to reiterate that we have a cross pendant and an earring back there that has been lost by someone. So if you're missing jewelry, just check it out back there. Now yoga. So as stated, September is National Yoga Month. To recognize this, we're covering 2 of the 8 limbs of yoga every Sunday. Today we are covering the 5th and 6th limbs. The 5th is pratyahara, sense withdrawal. In pratyahara, we learn to stop identifying with our senses and their objects so that we can experience the inner universe. As Henry David Thoreau said, what lies before us and what lies behind us are small matters compared to what lies within us. The 6th limb is dharana, focus, concentration, a single-pointed mind. This is the art of putting our whole being into our activities. Now, this is the point where I say, now that you've heard those things, come visit us. Yoga, 6:15 on Mondays, meditation, 6 o'clock on Thursdays. But I'm going to do an extra push this week for our one-to-oneness group, which right now is studying Ram Dass's Be Here Now. And I'm making a major push this week because we are starting the cookbook section, which is experiential. And you're going to get a taste of that at meditation today, but it's going to get deep. We're going to do some breathing exercises, some deep meditations. We're going to talk about diet. We're going to talk about sex. Ooh. We're going to talk about all kinds of things and how spirituality affects our lives and get to experience some of it in practice as well. So please come out. That's Thursdays at 7. You can join us Thursdays at 6 for meditation. Stay for the one-to-oneness. And I'd like more of you to show up in person. We got a lot of people online, but please come to the sanctuary on Thursdays. Thank you.
Thank you, Thank you, Ari. Let me put a second plug in for one-to-oneness. They are it's a really, I mean, I go and it's a really good class and session, and you can do it. Well, Ari said, come on down. Either come on down, or you can do it online. And now we have some wonderful special praise music.
So I wrote this song. Actually, I wrote most of this right before I spoke with Yamaja for a talk, and then she helped me complete it because she had a little chorus. Now, once you get the chorus, it's pretty straightforward. You guys, if you want to, you can feel like you can join in. Seek the truth of who we are, beyond the skies, beyond the stars. Who we are is more than enough. It's treasure, it's gold, unlimited stuff. We are beauty, we are kind. We're golden goodness to be mined. We believe and we know who we are. What we do now can take us so far. I have, you are, they are, we all are, living in the light of God, living in the light of God, living in the light of God, living in the light of God. I am, you are, they are, we all are, living in the light of God, living in the light of God. We are living in the light of God, living in the light of God. Find the light in who we see, the branches of one glorious tree. Within the heart and everywhere, one life, one love is what we share. We find freedom, we find peace. We have the strength to find our ease. Oh, we create who we choose to be. forgive the past and set us free. I have, you are, they are, we all are. Living in the light of God, we are living in the light of God. Living in the light of God, living in the light of God. I have, you are, they are, we all are. Living in the light of God, living in the light of God, living in the light of God, living in the light of God. I have, you are, they are, oh, we all are. Living in the light of God, we're living in the light of God. Oh, we're living in the light of God, living in the light of God.
Thank you, Daniel, and the Unity Band. Well, when I was in my late teens and early 20s, my goal in life was to become the next Arthur Miller, Eugene O'Neill, or Samuel Beckett, or Harold Pinter. In other words, my goal was to become a great playwright. And I went to school in New York City, so I was very fortunate to be able to volunteer for several theater companies. And one in particular, which I got close to, a group called the Classical Theater Company, which, as the name says, did a lot of great classics and everything else like that, did musicals, et cetera, et cetera. Their productions reminded me very much of E.C. Glass's production. I'm sure many of you have seen, right here in Lynchburg, the productions of E.C. Glass. When we first moved down here, my late wife Debbie, and at that time, Robin, my daughter Robin, was a little girl, and we went to them. I remember, for example, seeing The Music Man. I mean, this was like Broadway caliber. I mean, it was like 76 trombones and all this, and the sets were beautiful. And I remember one time we went to see The Nutcracker. I mean, that was with the dancers and the snow coming down, and then when the scene where the Christmas tree gets larger and larger and larger. You should have, little Robin, my daughter, you should have seen the look on her face. I mean, and so those E.C. Glass, and I promise you, this is not an infomercial for E.C. Glass Theater, and I'm not getting paid by them. But I noticed from downstairs we have a bulletin. They're doing Beauty and the Beast in March, and I bet you it's going to be an incredible. Those productions are really just incredible, the scenery and everything else like that. I remember with the Classical Theater Company, I would then take friends backstage. I mean, they'd see the Marvel production and all that. Then they'd go backstage. They'd come backstage, and they'd smell the grease paint, and they'd see the scenery, which looks so magical out front, and they're actually looking at this. It looks like garbage, and thin garbage, and they'd look at, the great Sugar Plum Fairy and all that, and she has, underarm sweat on her costume, and just once you get really close and start looking at it, the magic is gone. the magic is out the door. I could see this fall on their look. The reason why I mention this is because, again, we're talking about creating a beloved community, and that, and last week talked very much about, more volunteering, getting active and all. That means more or less coming out front from the audience and coming behind the stage and looking. But as you start, getting active and building the sets and looking and all this and seeing, you start seeing the grease paint and everything else like that. It's very easy to lose that mystical, magical connection. I've had the experience not once but twice with two presidents, one in Tulsa when I served as a minister in Tulsa, once when I served as minister in Roanoke. Had two presidents of the congregation come up to me and say, Rick, I'm very close to losing it. I mean, I used to look at church as this, sort of spiritual, mystical experience, and I'm losing it. I haven't felt this, the last time I came up to fix the sump pump, I mean, I just totally lost any. And then the arguments between this one and that one, and whether we should be doing the prayer for protection in a minor key or a major key. I mean, I've lost it, and so that is, I think, very, very common. And this is not just, I think, an experience with church. As you're going through a love relationship, a marriage, it's very easy to lose that, that mystical connection. I remember a good friend one time said to me, how come there's, Shakespeare didn't write Romeo and Juliet, part 2? I said, well, because he killed them all off in part 1. Nobody left for part 2. He said, nah, that wasn't the reason. He said, because if it were part 2, Shakespeare would be writing Juliet saying, Romeo, take out the garbage, And so it's very easy in those day-to-day, whether take work. I do pastoral counseling. I have her permission to tell this story. I do pastoral counseling for a wonderful woman who is she's in Washington, D.C. area. She's part of I think, an incredible organization that many of you know, that has really doing, as it were, the Lord's work, and has done so much good. But she's up close to the organization, and she sees the warts and the blemishes, and she has totally lost any sense of how much good this organization has brought to our society. It's very easy for that to happen. And so I want to talk about, as we create as we create a beloved community, not to lose that mystical, that connection. And also to remember, and work in a relationship, not to lose that sense which is so important. So we've been talking about creating a beloved community, and let's remind ourselves where we've been. The first week I talked about what is a beloved community. It's based on a lot of concepts Martin Luther King Jr. had back in the 60s, concerned about, the fall in church membership, and he's very concerned. Recently, another minister, Jim Lockhart, wrote this wonderful book called Creating the Beloved Community. We talked about it, and again, the wonderful thing is these services are recorded. You can go to our website, download, from previous weeks and all that. So talk about what is a beloved community, some examples of beloved communities in the unity, in the unity framework. Talked about Unity of San Francisco, Unity of Houston, some other places too. And then said, ironically, a lot of things, we're doing a lot of this here at Unity in the Seven Hills. I mean, so many good things are happening. I mean, to give one, maybe I should do this during the announcements, but we've had several weeks where people have had a difficult time finding a place to park the car. I mean, Bonnie has talked with Family Dollar. You can park on Sundays, they're letting us use the Family Dollar parking lot also. I mean, these are wonderful, wonderful problems. We didn't have a YFM, Youth and Family Ministries program. Now we do. But we need to get Crystal, it's growing. Some weeks there are more kids there than, Crystal can really have. So we're trying to get volunteers. These are wonderful challenges. So I said, in many ways, we're moving in the direction of this beloved community. But then in the second week, I talked about some of the common obstacles that come up when you're creating such a beloved community. But fortunately, there are solutions to all of this. And then last week, we talked about, but it's going to take some hard work. If you really want to do this, you really want to sustain it, it's going to take some hard work. And I talked about, really centered on three. One, believing that it's possible. Believing that it is possible. Because, you can sit around saying, Lynchburg and all that. And I said, Rome, Paris, London, Lynchburg. I mean, true story. Up in Northern Virginia, there's a university called George Mason University. George Mason University was essentially a glorified community college when I first came to Washington, D.C. But they had vision. They had dreams. They really, they went for it. And my God, I mean, before I was a minister, as many of you know, as an economist, in economics, they have 2 Nobel Prize winners now in their department. 2 Nobel Prize winners. And if you remember, they were in the final, it wasn't the Final Four, but it was in March Madness. They made it to the Sweet 16, I think it was. They dreamed big and had visions, and gosh, George Mason, it's not uncommon, listening to NPR or reading a news article or something, and they're quoting somebody from George Mason. So dream, I always remember meeting Dolly Parton's through United Way. And I remember her talking about, growing up in a one-room, it was with a dirt floor and all that. But she said, even then, I dreamed big and prayed big. I dreamed big and prayed big. And the neat thing about this creating a beloved community, it is a virtual upward spiral. Good things start happening. I mean, food not bombs starts coming to us. Ari has said he's going to, at the annual meeting next week, he's going to sock it to us with all the good things that are going on here. So, and I want to see that we continue doing that. But as we do that we not lose that mystical sense. My God, the last thing in the world we want to do is grow into a mega church, which has lost spirit, has lost spirit and soul. Jim Locke, Reverend Jim, wonderful book, says, as I see it, there are 2 main reasons to be in a spiritual community. One is to develop a culture of love and support for people living their daily lives based on spiritual understanding. The other is to introduce them to the mystical path. And what is a mystical path, or what is a mystic? Jim says, a mystic is primarily centered within in the inner life. A mystic is a person who has mastered or is in the process of mastering the realization of the inner power of consciousness. The inner power of consciousness, and not losing that. Now, the reality is, Jim Rosemergy, that great unity minister, wrote a book by that title, Even Mystics Have to Pay Bills. So the reality is, I don't think we're on the county line, so I don't think we have a sump pump. But the reality is you're going to have to run into the metaphysical equivalent of sump pumps. Heaters are going to go out. Roofs need this, that, and the other. Takes funds and all that. But a beloved community is a community which can take care of those things. which can take the trash out, as it were, and yet also not lose that sense of awe, that sense of mysticism, that sense of why we're here in the first place. Reverend Jim writes, "The beloved community is a place where there is a balance between the everyday and the mystical, where both are taught and seen as two elements of a greater whole, of two elements of a greater whole." And it is so possible to lose one or the other and not to have, as it were, that balance. And so I think it's really important to step back when looking at a community, a spiritual community, looking at a marriage, looking at a corporation or a nonprofit organization, and looking at your life and asking ourselves, are we nourishing both sides? Are we nourishing both sides? In my individual life, are we nourishing both sides? In a marriage, are we nourishing both sides? And so if we are not, and if we take the time to journal and to write and to pray about, are we nourishing both sides? I mean, you can be so mystical that you're no practical good to, but are you nourishing both sides? And if not, what is blocking you from doing this? I mean, I really felt with both those presidents that I talked about of the congregations, it was really in a way talking them both down from the ledge, as it were, that here is how you can start in your life to, I mean, I understand bills have to get paid, but it's also important to make sure that spiritual, that mystical side is also getting nourished. The beloved community should be a place which decreases fear and increases faith and compassion. It should be a place where it is leading to the diminishing of resentments and an increase in forgiveness. It should be a place which is decreasing that sense of separation and leading to that increase of love and oneness. And if it's not, what's blocking that? And how could you enhance that? Fear down, faith and compassion up, resentment down, forgiveness up, separation down, love or oneness up. And if by chance either the marriage or the love relationship, the working for the nonprofit, or a spiritual community, if somehow you're finding your faith is going down, your fear is going up, your resentments are going up, and is going up in forgiveness. It's putting the emphasis on the wrong syllaba, as it were, and to come back and to really try to adjust that. Another thing which both Dr. King and also Reverend Jim have really pointed out about beloved community. A beloved community, really, it's not so much what you're against, it's more what are you for. Instead of a war on poverty, it would be harvesting abundance. It would be harvesting abundance. And I think very important a lot of times, we can state very much what we're against, but the more important thing is what are we for? What are the positive values and what are the positive things we are for? And are we really enhancing that and spreading it? As I think about this, I mean, several things come to mind. The first is a wonderful book. It's usually the title is usually Practicing the Presence. Sometimes it's called The God Illumined Cook, but more often than not, it's Practicing the Presence. An incredible book written in the 1600s. It's about a guy named Brother Lawrence, And it took place, true story, it took place in a French monastery outside of Paris in the 1600s. And there was a guy there in the monastery called Brother Lawrence. And Brother Lawrence essentially was the assistant cook. I mean, if you're really probably getting accurate, he was the dishwasher. He was more or less. I spent most of his days washing dishes, and yet everybody knew and sensed that Brother Lawrence's connection with the divine, with spirit, was sort of. I mean, he was really light years above almost everybody else in the monastery. I mean, if you had a really serious problem, you went and saw you saw Brother Lawrence. I mean, that was who you went. And as he's washing dishes, he's talking to you. And so finally, the head of the monastery, the head abbot, decided to go down and have conversations with Brother Lawrence. Now, you're a lowly dishwasher, and yet you seem to be more connected. You seem to be more connected to God than anybody else around here. How the heck do you do it? And they started, and Brother Lawrence started talking about this. And very interesting, Brother Lawrence said, you know, quite frankly, if you can't find God while washing dishes, you probably are not going to find him anyplace else. In other words, it's not in other words, if you're going to find God, you have to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. That you are able to do it and find it in your everyday experiences. Brother Lawrence talks about the importance very much, however, like Scott Walker, who I read in the beginning, having those experiences, Brother Lawrence didn't have a golden retriever on, or whatever, but having those moments where you really step back and remember the beauty of a sunrise, the divinity in just birds at the bird feeder and chirping away, the miracle of this, and giving praise to the Creator, having those moments, but being able to take those moments into everyday life, into the washing, as it were, of dishes. And being able to keep that consciousness was so incredibly important to Brother Lawrence. And as I say, it's an incredible book, Practicing the Presence. And I think has so much to tell us, believe it or not, in this electronic 21st century. Another person who I would bring up is Nikola Tesla, the great inventor and scientist. Tesla said, if you want to know how the universe works, remember three things: energy, vibration, frequency. Energy, vibration, frequency. Tesla felt that, it all probably, Einstein wasn't even able to do it. We're still trying to strive for a unified field theory, which links all the different various forces. We've linked several of them, but we've not linked it up to gravity, and we haven't linked it all up. But all of it coming from I love it in unity metaphysics. The unity pioneers just called it substance. They just called it substance. That it all, as it were, links back to this substance, which produces vibrations. And this is well before string theory and physics or anything else from Tesla, but vibrations. But then Tesla said the important thing with the vibrations is frequency, that you set the frequency that you want, that you, on your equipment, you, as it were, he said, I spend a lot of time setting the frequencies because any old frequency is not going to do. I set the frequency. And I think if we want to enhance the mystical and remembering those spiritual moments, it is really taking charge of setting the frequency of what you want. Because I think the law of attraction is so true. If you're at a low frequency, or any old frequency, guess what you're going to get? You'll probably be attracting low frequencies, and you'll get what you'll get what you get. But when we take the time to set that frequency, to remember that Scott Walker sunrise, and set that frequency, then lo and behold, even in the middle of washing dishes or the equivalent, we will attract that frequency. And we will remember that all that we truly are doing is of love and service to a wonderful, incredible higher power. Lastly, which also comes to mind, and I think it's so relevant because we're now celebrating the 60th anniversary of this, is the story of Carolyn McKinstry. Carolyn, African-American woman, lived in Birmingham, Alabama, 60 years ago. She was a young girl, and she went to the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham. And she believe me, stepping forward through, the arch, she started volunteering as a young girl. She was in charge of collecting the money from the religious school and bringing it upstairs to the office. She was taking it, bringing the attendants up to the office and all that. So she's in one of the downstairs rooms with 4 of her other girlfriends, and they're laughing and joking and all this. And Carolyn says, "I got to bring the money and the attendance sheet up to the office. I'll see you in a minute." She goes up to the office. The phone rings. She picks it up, and the voice on the line says, "You have 5 minutes." Click. What 5 minutes? She tells somebody, and he says, probably some kook, whatever, forget it. So she's sitting there, putting the money in, clicking, putting away. The next thing you know, a powerful, powerful bomb went off in that church. And her 4 girlfriends who were downstairs were killed. 4 little children killed. Carolyn then, was devastated by this. There was no she said, "I got no counseling, no guidance, nothing." The church they brought us a tuna fish casserole or something like that, but that was it. And I felt, they really didn't come forward. And I thought, if God would let this happen, you can take that God and shove it. And she became extremely, extremely bitter. And quite frankly, if that's what happens when you walk up through the proscenium arch and you walk backstage and you see garbage like that, forget it. And so her spiritual life was shut down for a good number of years. And then she started to realize, this is not doing me any good. I'm living with anger, hatred, and all this. She then, when she said, I wish I could get over this, what appeared to her was on the coffee table. Was the bulletin from that Sunday service. What was the message going to be that Sunday? And the bulletin, the title of the talk was "A Love That Forgives." A love that forgives. And again, a Baptist church, so it was hinged on one line of scripture. The line of scripture was Luke, the 23rd chapter, the 34th verse. "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." She said it hit her. It hit her. And it started her journey. It started her journey back. And she started going, was a member of another church. She started getting active in that church. She said, this time, as a young girl, I was a volunteer. I'm going to continue being a volunteer, but this time I have to nourish both sides. I have to nourish both sides. Lo and behold, she felt the call to ministry and has become a minister and has incredible, powerful ministry particularly with people who have lost that spiritual and mystical sense, and working with them to actually renew it. A good friend said to me, reminded me of a saying in the theater, the magic of the theater takes many magicians. The magic in the theater takes many magicians. To create this beloved community and sustain it right here in Lynchburg, it's going to take many magicians. But I would say, I think some things to boil down to, let's make sure we're not losing that balance. We're taking care of the everyday things, the sump pumps as it were, but we're also not losing that sense of the mystical. And that we also remember that when we take these visions, we take the time to pray, we take the time to have a spiritual discipline, when we are aware of those metaphysical sunrises, we can carry those into our everyday and, like Brother Lawrence, wash the dishes and still have a deep sense of the divine. This is the last Sunday in this series on creating the beloved community, but I want to give you a sense that this process is not starting. Next week, I'm going to start another short series on essentially making peace with your religious past, dealing with the sense of spiritual abuse, or like the Carolyn McKinty, I didn't get this or I didn't get that. That's so important to come to peace, because I have seen from pastoral counseling elsewhere that when we don't make peace with our spiritual past, it really starts holding us back from where we can grow today. And then I'll be starting another series on a wonderful book by Reverend Gary Simmons called The Eye of the Storm, which really talks about how to spiritually deal with conflict. Because I don't want to make it sound like, as we create this beloved community, it's going to be the good ship lollipop. We're going to run into difficulties and all that. But how to handle conflicts, how to handle the difficult situations, and handle them in a way where we can spiritually grow, where we can start seeing challenges as opportunities, as real opportunities for spiritual growth. I'd like to give the last word, as it were, to Jim Lockhart, Reverend Jim. Reverend Jim says, we are intentionally working toward a better version of ourselves. The better version is within each of us and all of us as pure potential. May we realize it more and more together. May we realize it more and more together. Thank you, and God bless.
Can you get the lights? So as we go into meditation today, I'm going to be taking all that we can be. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Field of love, ooh, that's high. A field of forgiveness, that's kind of low. A peace that passes understanding. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. A field of love, a field of forgiveness, a peace that passes understanding. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. There's a field. I'll meet you there.
Now, before we go into meditation, because we're talking about enhancing the mystical, I just wanted to say something really quick. We have an event locally called the Festival of Lights, and it was led by Therese Sharp, who has made her transition this year. And so the event is being led by Pamela Smith. And speaking of enhancing the mystical, this week starts All Things Mystical Metaphysical, a group led by Pamela Smith. And I just want to let you all know that the love offerings we get for that class are going to go towards helping her with the Festival of Light. So please come out to her group and please give generously so we can help out our spiritual community. And now we're going to do a meditation from Guru Rinpoche, known as Padmasambhava, who brought Tantric Buddhism to Tibet. So this is going to be very Buddhist. So when I say Buddha, if you feel like it, you can replace that with Christ or whatever strikes you best. We're going to be doing a little alternate nostril breathing in this. When we get to that part, doesn't matter how you do it, just follow along with what's said. So if you will, join me and close your eyes. Consider a being of pure light and love, who you can name Padmasambhava, the lotus-evolved one, if you would like. This being is sitting in the midst of a lake on a lotus flower in front of you. In front of you and also slightly above you, so that you look up to him at about a 30-degree angle. As we begin, closing your left nostril, breathe the 3 deep breaths out of your right nostril, visualizing the air being ejected as dark red. This is all of your bodily diseases and attachments leaving you. Closing your right nostril. Now breathe out 3 deep breaths through your left nostril. Visualize the air being ejected as a blue-gray and consider it to be all your mental obstacles and anger. Now breathe out 3 deep breaths through your mouth, visualizing this air as purple, and consider it as the sloth that impedes your progress, the inertia. Breathe it out. Now from this being of light and love in front of you, visualize that from its ajna, the point between the eyebrows, directly to your ajna, there is a piercing beam of white light, which as it burns into you, rids you of bodily wrongs. The sound connected with this beam is Now visualize a red beam from the throat chakra of Padmasambhava directly to your throat center. This beam rids you of lapses of speech, of untruths. And as you visualize this red beam from throat to throat, the sound you hear connected to it is Now visualize a blue beam of light coming from the heart of Padmasambhava to your heart. This beam, this blue beam, purifies you of wrongs done in ignorance, wrong thoughts, such as thoughts that maintain the illusion. This blue beam has the sound. Now allow that blue beam to become a broad blue avenue of light. Then you will see the being of light and love come down that avenue and directly into your heart, where he sits in your hridayam, your spiritual heart. As you do, you hear his mantra. Om Ahum Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. Om Ahum Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. This means the three in one, the unmanifest, imminent manifestation and manifestation, lightning bolt guru of unbearable compassion and infinite power who resides in my heart. And as we hear it a few more times, we allow him and ourselves to become one. Om Ahum Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. Om Ahum Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. And we repeat the four Bodhisattva vows, remembering that when I say Buddha, you may replace that with Christ or whatever feels in your heart. I resolve to become enlightened for the sake of all living beings. I resolve to become enlightened for the sake of all living beings. I resolve to become enlightened for the sake of all living beings. I will cut the roots of all delusive passions. I will cut the roots of all delusive passions. I will cut the roots of all delusive passions. I will penetrate the farthest gate of Dharma. I will penetrate the farthest gate of Dharma. I will penetrate the farthest gate of Dharma. I will realize the supreme way of Buddha. I will realize the supreme way of Buddha. I will realize the supreme way of Buddha. And to quote Ramana Maharshi, Guru, God, and self are one. Bring yourself back to your breathing. Give yourself permission to breathe deeper than you have all morning. And as you breathe, allow that breath to come in and excite all your cells, awakening your senses, feeling your weight on your seat, the light coming into your eyelids, the air on your skin, any smells or tastes, allow them to become excited and come back to you in this moment as our presence returns to this space. And allowing yourself a few more breaths. When you feel the time is right, you may open your eyes.
The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well. Let's stand and profess that truth. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well.
Thank you, and be seated, please. So many wonderful things are happening at Unity in the Seven Hills almost every day. One of the key things which is happening, going to start this week, is our new group on the mystical and metaphysical, led by Pamela Smith. I've asked Pamela, can you come on up and... There we go. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning. So you are invited to a new group called All Things Mystical and Metaphysical. So we'll be starting this Wednesday, the 20th, and each Wednesday at 1:30. We'll be delving into a variety of different mystical and metaphysical topics. So whether you're a skeptic or a believer or just open-minded, you're invited to come and join in. I'll be the facilitator, and we're going to be having guest presenters come some weeks with different interesting topics and subjects, such as life between lives, light languages, all about crystals, dowsing, dreams, past life regression, plus some topics that some of you have suggested as well. You can join us in person or on Zoom. And the group is ongoing, and you can join in anytime. Some of the classes might be maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but just jump in whenever you want to. And the cost is a love donation. Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela. Her class on Angels 101 and 102 were a big, big hit, and I know this is going to be a wonderful group. Another wonderful thing which is happening is we're almost ready to hold the diversity workshop and service. Linda Dunn is going to be leading it. Linda, come on up if you could. This, I think, is, again, for us to create a beloved community. This at work in terms of diversity is so important. So let me turn it over to Linda. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful to be here today. And before I even say anything about the workshop, I want to express my gratitude to Imaja Jubilee, who was the bridge between you and me. Because Imaja was my friend, and she comes to many Unity churches. So she and Roy came to our church. I'm from Unity in Greensboro. And so she came to our Unity in Greensboro. She and Roy did many years ago, and we became friends. And I know she could help you with that song. I always called her the word wizard because she is a wizard with words, and she's published a couple poetry books. So anyway, I just want to express my gratitude for her for connecting you to me. She was a part of our diversity team, and she was going to help us with this workshop. But my team, the workshop team that I created is in Alamance County, North Carolina, and she lives in Richmond. And it's just been very difficult for her to participate in the things we're doing there, as well as the things that she is so engaged in. She has so many things that she does. So anyway, I'm only one of the workshop leaders. The workshop is called Building Bridges, and it was created by a woman named Cherry Brown, who leads the National Coalition Building Institute, which is based in Silver Springs, Maryland. So I was trained in this workshop model in 1992, and I've been doing this workshop for 30 years, and I wouldn't continue to do it if it wasn't fun. It is a marvelous model. I'm so glad that you're going to create a beloved community. I mean, that is such a marvelous dream. And this workshop, I think, will be help you build the beloved community. It's a workshop, how do I describe it? I'll just tell you that you're going to learn some things about yourself that you didn't know. And you're going to learn some things about each other that you didn't know. And those things will help to draw you together and to help you work together as a community in working towards that beloved dream of a community. And so I am a mediator, a facilitator, a musician, and a teacher. And all the things that I do are interactive. I'm not a public speaker. This is probably the most you'll see me up talking, even though I'm a teacher. Everything I do is interactive. And so when you come to this workshop, you will not fall asleep. You're not going to be listening to me. You're going to be interacting with each other. So we'll do a little snippet of something, maybe do a demo up front, and then we'll say, okay, go find a partner and do what we just told you to do. And then we come back and process. And so throughout the day, you're going to be learning things about others and yourself that are going to help you build bridges between each other and help you form what I call real community. So I'm very excited that this bridge has been built between me and you, and I'm very excited that you're going to be able to share this workshop with me. Very grateful that you're giving me 6 hours to do it because it's a 6-hour model. And when we scrunch it down, I've had to scrunch it down to 4 hours because people don't want to take that much time. But I promise you, if you come and interact with each other, you're going to have a good time. You're not going to fall asleep. And hopefully you'll be building bridges between each other as well as revealing some things about yourself that you maybe didn't know. So I guess that's all I need to say for now.
Thank you, Linda. And
Yes.
Linda will be downstairs with us at Fellowship to talk
Yep.
a little bit more about it and answer any questions.
That's October the 7th.
Yes. Um, Now, on also on Thursday, October 10th, our prayer chaplains will be presenting an annual pet blessing. So please bring your furry and scaly friends over from 4 p.m. to sunset in our barking lot. It will be in our barking lot for some wonderful laying on of paws. If you miss it, it will be a catastrophe. We are looking for volunteers. Seriously, we do need individuals for our Sunday broadcast team, our dream team, which is dreams up the future for our community, our ideas for the future, and we are also looking for someone to take over the upkeep of the library. If you feel called for any action, please either speak to me, speak to Ari, speak to Bonnie. Next Sunday, it's the annual meeting. It's next week. It's open to everyone, but only members will be able to vote for the new board members. For those of you, and thank you for all who help us with food during the fellowship, we ask that next weekend, would you please bring a more like meal appropriate food for this event, like sandwiches. I'll bring donut sandwiches next week, so I'm not just donuts. So, I mean, seriously, sandwiches and stuff like that for the annual meeting. We again today are partnering with Blaze Pizza. Thank you, Robin, for all that you've done on this. It's a community fundraiser. So join us today at Blaze Pizza on Wards Road from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And please pick up a flyer in the back of the room to be able to show them when you check out, because we do get get credit for it, and it will help financially support the church. If you're watching us at home, we request that you like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell icon for notifications. It's the easiest way to access our live streams. For those here in person, don't forget there is coffee and food and fellowship downstairs. Let's affirm our abundance together. Can we say that? Yes. Unity in the seven hills is abundantly blessed. Creative people are drawn to us. Divine ideas flow through us. Financial resources bless us, and we accomplish mighty works together. If you're watching from home, we have Zelle and PayPal, a giving fund. To use PayPal, we ask you just click the link below or go to the giving page on the site. You can also give by purchasing fall bulbs for Flower Power fundraiser. And here's Deanna to speak a little bit more about this. Let me bring this down. Surprise, surprise.
Hey, who doesn't love flowers? I mean, and now is the time to select your fall bulbs. So you'll be planting those in December or January. We have a link on our webpage that you can go to Flower Power Fundraising and select all kinds of daffodils, crocuses, hyacinths, all kinds of beautiful bulbs. And the wonderful thing is we get 50% of everything that you purchase. There is a one-time fee of $6 for delivery, no matter how much you buy. So please go to the website and get your bulbs and have a beautiful yard in the spring.
Thank you so much. As our greeters come on down and direct you, come on down. And again, I know many of you give monthly or whatever, but come on down. Your vibrations and prayers mean a lot. Stand in front of the Unity candle a second, and don't forget to take an affirmation.
Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in my soul. I can feel it in my heart. And it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside. We can let it shine out. Yes, we can. Something wonderful. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body. Oh, I can feel it in my soul. I can feel it in my heart. And it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside. We can let it shine out. Yes, we can. Something wonderful. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body. Oh yeah, I can feel it in my soul. I can feel it in my heart. And it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside. We can let it shine out. Yes, we can. Something wonderful. Thank you to our guest drummer, Ken, for sitting in today. All right, so let's bless the gifts together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. United in mind, body, and spirit, I dedicate these gifts as they grow to bless our community, our neighborhood, and our world. Let's close with the
What's going on in YFM?
Today we talked about Rosh Hashanah and focused mainly on the blessing of apples and honey, bringing many blessings for a sweet new year, because it's the new year of the Jewish holiday.
Thank you.
So let's close with the peace song. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, yes, this is my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.